welcome. You have chosen the Scenic City Sport. Hello, everyone, and welcome. You have chosen the Scenic City Sports Podcast, your destination for local sports news, be it high school, be it professional, or whether you just want to listen to us ramble on about professional wrestling or old Seinfeld quotes or crazy movies that we all like. Welcome to the Scenic City Sports Podcast, brought to you by the fine folks at Gary Thacker Insurance over at 2382 Battlefield Parkway. You can reach them at 706-866-8283. Also, the Chattanooga Flower Market, 8016 East Raynard Road, 423-899-2440. Phil's Primetime Pizza down in beautiful Chickamauga, Georgia, 122 Gordon Street. That's 706-375-4448. Our good friend Greg Payne, host of Restricted to the Dugout with Greg Payne and the Payne Mortgage Team. You can reach them at 423-645-9404 for all of your mortgage needs. And finally, Choo Choo Barbecue, who make it possible for us to bring you the scoreboard on Friday nights. The Choo Choo Barbecue of Chickamauga scoreboard. You can reach them at 12960 U.S. Highway 27 at 706-375-7675. And as Ringo Rob likes to say, you don't know Q until you know Choo Choo. We also want to say a special thank you to Matthew Mays and the good friends and members of Jupiter Coyote, one of our favorite bands, and they provide the music for the show. Those guys have always been great to us, and we hope you guys will reach out and try to check out their music as well. So sit back and relax and hold on, and we'll see where we get to.
Joining you, Ringold Rob, on location in the Rob Mobile on his way to playoff football tonight. He is headed to East Hamilton, where we have two local teams there playing in East Hamilton and Red Bank. We also have, over on that side of the river, we've got, or I guess that side of the state line, I might as well say, we have Tyner also still alive. Baylor McCallie still in it. On the Georgia side, we have locally, I guess we've got, Daresville?
Daresville in AAA. We have Calhoun and Dalton and Cartersville and Cass. They all won in the first round. Over in Region 5, I think Rome's still alive. Carrollton's still alive. Darlington, Tryon still alive. I'm trying to think. I think Fannin County, Rockmart, and then Cedartown and Central Carrollton. That's about it.
These past couple of weeks.
Oh, Chattanooga Christian also.
These past couple of weeks, we've had a number of kids commit to colleges all over the Southeast and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a chance, go to the Scenic City Sports page on Facebook, and you can see where Scott has done a hell of a job of keeping all that updated with a lot of really good pictures and everything to go along with that. It's just this is going to be a quick and fast 30 to 45 minute show, guys. We got.
You know what it reminds me of?
What's that?
Remember Prep Game Day?
Yeah.
Back on old ESPN when we do the show from 5 to 7, lead right up till kickoff, and
we would have like Debbie and Nathan and Rob and whoever else was at every game would pick the phone up and call in and say, hey, I'm out here at so-and-so, this is what's going on. Miss some of those days were a little more fun. We just, I don't know, we didn't have a care in the world sometimes at that time. And, of course, your life was probably a little bit easier because you weren't covering near the amount of schools that you're covering
only had
now.
one county then and 3 high schools. And, it was life was a little bit easier.
Let me brag on my Warriors last night. Big wrestling win.
Yeah.
Goes all the way down to the last match with a win over Southeast. Brody Rizzo right now has started this young season off 6-0 and looking good, but it was the baby Rizzo last night that got the last win to put the Warriors over the edge.
Yeah, beat Southeast 42-36. I believe Southeast beat them this past Saturday down in a tournament down at Southeast. So LFO returns the favor. They're actually going to be in a tournament at Ringgold tomorrow.
Well, I can tell you this much: the future at Lakeview wrestling is bright. Welborn has his stride again, and there's some brewing up there. It may not be this year, but I'm telling you, it's a matter of time.
It's the hat.
Good things are do. It's
the hat.
It's the hat. Is that what it is?
It's Donnie's hat. I
still those that know Donnie, and I know there's a lot of you out there that know Donnie Welborn. He's known to do his quite famous and funny Facebook post a lot of times, and one of the best ones that he's done in recent time was he did one on Facebook, and it was him standing on the side of the wrestling mat wearing the old Tam O'Shanter hat, and somebody, he said funniest caption wins, and somebody's caption was, and a 1, and a 2, and a 3, oh Danny boy. And I just died laughing when I read it. But if you ain't seen Coach Welborn in a while, he's about half the man he once was.
Yep.
He's getting ready to run those the triathlon again, and I mean, I give him credit, man. He's looking good. He looks like he could lace them boots up at any time and get on that mat roll with them boys right now.
Just saw him at school a few minutes ago, and yeah, he is looking in increasingly top shape.
Yes, he is. Well, Scott, tell everybody what we got. What are we? Give us the rundown on tonight in Georgia and Tennessee of what we're looking at.
Yeah, let's just start in Tennessee. We're in the quarterfinals already in Tennessee because they're a week ahead of Georgia. Class 1A, even though we don't have any teams in it, we'll just run it down. Oliver Springs at Coalfield, Gordonsville at Clay County. And bottom half of that bracket be Fayetteville at McKenzie and Peabody at MASE. So that'll be interesting. Now, Class 2A. Monterey is at York Institute. Tyner has to travel up to East Robertson. I believe East Robertson is 10-1, 11-1, something like that. So Tyner's going to have the work cut out for him. That's a pretty good ball club up there at East Robertson, but I think it's a game Tyner can win. Bottom half of that bracket, Riverside at Lewis County and Union City at Huntington. I like Tyner. I like Tyner to win this week, and like I said, I'd like Tyner to make it to the Blue Cross Bowl.
Yeah, I mean they got a good draw. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
They got a good draw, and they got a little bit extra play for them. And you think about it, this is, I guess this is officially the last season.
Yeah.
In Bob Edmonds Stadium,
mm-hmm.
And so maybe they want to take it out the right way.
And if I'm not mistaken,
because the new school is basically going to sit right where that football field is right now.
I just thought of this. Didn't they win it in 97?
Yeah, 1997.
So this is the 25th anniversary.
Yes, it is. That's kind of...
It's the 25th anniversary of that Tyner team that won the state title.
And, I mean, let's be real honest, Scott. I mean, you and I covered several of those Tyner teams
mm-hmm.
over the years. And, I mean, it's a travesty, really.
Oh, God, yeah.
That there's only one state championship over there. I mean, with the amount of talent that walked through that place.
Except for maybe Alcoa a few times, Tyner would probably have about 5 or 6 state titles.
Yeah, it would. I mean, it's really funny that we say that because I was sitting with Corey Lingerfeld this morning, and we were talking about, best high school football players we'd ever watched in person. And, we brought up Derrick Rogers, and we brought up Nick Chubb and Von Bell and some of those. And he said, well, of all the years you've done this, who's the best high school football player you ever saw? And I said, it's hands down Randall Cobb. And he said, what? I said, yeah, Scott and I went to Alcoa, watched Tyner play Alcoa that night. And I said, I swear to you, the kid could have ran the ball in on any touch had he wanted to. And I said, but the thing about it is that I said, I'll go to my grave believing that Tyner was the better team on the field that night. They just had a couple of really missed
4 turnovers.
And 4 turnovers that night, and they were still in the game.
Yeah. They were still in the game there for a while, and then just finally got away from...
That would be...
That Alcoa team also had Brandon Warren.
Yeah,
who went on... I think he signed with Florida State and played at Tennessee, too.
And then
big tight end.
He got a cup of coffee in the NFL at one time. Well, it's, you think about what a good buddy of ours is coming out of retirement tonight and going to patrol the sidelines.
I saw that.
Yeah, Farley's going to be out there. I saw him on the way out of school today.
I saw that.
Oh, yeah, and by the way, he told me, and I was laughing. But this is the time of year when things get fun, and really it's kind of time of year when you look back on all the funny stuff we've done over the years and all the times we've snuck into state title games. We've packed 9 people in a pickup truck and drove across Monteagle Mountain in the snow.
Oh, dear God.
We've done so many funny things over the years, but it always... I sit here right now, and we're looking at the actual possibility of within 2 to 3 weeks of having Baylor and McCallie face off in Findlay for a state title.
All they got to do is win tonight.
Now, I mean...
That's all they got to do is win tonight against teams they can beat.
Yes. But you think about it, though, Scott. That game means enough just to play it in the regular season. But you throw the big prize out there. And, I mean, I don't know where Mike Moore is right now, but I promise you he's dusting his batting gloves off as we speak.
If they do meet, how many show up at Findlay?
Oh, it'll be...
15?
It's every bit of the biggest crowd Findlay will have ever had. Because you don't
At least for a high school football game.
Yeah, I mean, you don't think some of them Canadian kids that are down here ain't going to have parents making road trips down here to watch them play for a state title?
Possibly.
Knowing that they could, pick the kid up, take them back with them, for the weekend or what. I mean, come on, man. I mean, you're going to see people that don't even really go watch a lot of high school football. That's going to be the easiest ticket in the world to sell. Hey, man, Baylor McCallie playing for a state championship in Findlay.
And you might be able to get a ticket. It's not like Baylor McCallie where they're so scarce you can't find them.
That and the fact you'll actually be able to park.
Yeah.
That in itself is talk about if something happens and we don't get these games back, talk about sending them out with a blast.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, if we wound up with those two plus, let's say Tyner makes it there, and by some grace of God, East Hamilton or Red Bank, either one makes it all the way.
Well, I honestly think we're going to have at least 3. I think we're going to have at least 3 play for a state title. Running them down, Class 3A, Gatlinburg Pittman at Alcoa, Sweetwater at Giles County. Sweetwater's been on a roll this year, but and I think they have a chance to win tonight, but of course, there's Alcoa. 4A, as we talked about, Red Bank at East Hamilton. One of these teams will go to the semifinals next week to take on either Greenville or Anderson County, and both those programs have done a number on some of these teams in our area, so hopefully they could get by some of them and move on. Looking down here's the other team. I mentioned Tyner. Here's the other team. I honestly think they're going to win tonight. CPA at Chattanooga Christian. Wow. There's something. I know CPA is really good, but Chattanooga Christian's playing at home. That team just seems unified after what they've gone through in the last couple weeks. Yeah. It seems like they've really come together, and I like their chances to win tonight and make it to the state championship game. Now, of course, you make the state championship game. Let's just be honest. You're going to match up against Lipscomb Academy because they're playing Knox Webb tonight. They played them, I think, the last game of the regular season. I think they beat them by about 30. They're good. They're nationally ranked. There will be a heavy favorite when they get to the Blue Cross Bowl. But just for this Chargers team, just to, first semifinal appearance in program history tonight, and they got a chance to play for a state title in their own backyard. That's something. And I like I said, I just got a good feeling that they're going to win this thing tonight. And of course, McCallie traveling to MBA, certainly not easy. No. Not in the least. But McCallie knows how to win in the playoffs, and they owe MBA from that first meeting.
They do, but
that's a game they had won and then lost.
But you brought it up right there. I mean, that's a nice little jaunt. I mean, at least you are still closer by. At least you're not going to MUS.
Oh yeah.
Traveling all the way to Memphis, but yeah. I mean, and that's and I'll tell you what, man. Say what you want. I've been up there around it. That is a absolutely breathtaking campus.
Oh yeah. Most of those private schools are. And then, of course, the other side of the bracket we mentioned, Baylor at Brentwood Academy, another game that Baylor can absolutely win that one. We've been talking about it for years. If Baylor can meet McCallie for the state title, and we're 4 quarters of football away from it happening in here in Chattanooga. So
you ever sit there and think about it? You look, you've got Brentwood Academy right there playing. You think all the way back to the public-private split, and the whole reason that split happened to begin with. And Brentwood hadn't won, but what have they won? 1 state championship, 2 state championships since all that? And you're going all the way. And you're going all the way back to what, 1997?
Earlier than that, I believe. Trying to think, because
they
were,
like that, maybe?
Because that was Marion County's big rival. Marion County was in that streak of 4 straight.
Yep.
That was their big rivalry. It was Brentwood Academy and Marion County, which seems
crazy
hilarious to say now, but that's the way it is.
But you look at the athletes that went through Marion County at that stretch.
Look
at the athletes that went through South Pittsburgh during that stretch. I mean, we have had no shortage of good football players and Division I athletes go through the Chattanooga, North Georgia area.
Yeah. Running down the Georgia games for tonight, we're in the second round here in Georgia. And I'll just mention some of these games. I know not all of them are going to be teams from our area, but there's some notable matchups. Walton at Buford in 7A. That might be more of a game than some people want to mention. Marietta is at Carrollton tonight. Looking down, you remember Woodward Academy that came here and played McCallie. They're in the semifinal or the quarter or second round. 10-1 hosting Lee County tonight, which ought to be a real good game. Alpharetta playing at Rome in Class 6A. Looking down, Class 5A, and like we said, Region 7 had a 4-0 sweep last week, including Cass, who knocked off number 1 seed in Jefferson, who's got a 5-star prospect in Sammy Brown. If you haven't seen that kid play, Cass will have to go to Mays tonight to see if they can win that game. Dalton playing at Creekside, 6-5. Dalton still in the playoffs. Had a 7-3 win over Loganville last week. Cartersville and Cambridge, and I believe that one's at Cambridge, because I think Cambridge is the number 1 seed. And then Kell, 10-1, coming up to Calhoun. So that ought to be a really interesting game. Moving down, Walnut Grove, the team that beat Heritage last week, they're traveling to Atlanta today to play Stockbridge. Central of Carrollton, number 2 seed from Region 7, they're playing at Holy Innocents tonight. Stevenson at Cedartown. Cedartown is on a roll. I would not be surprised if Stevenson does not score. And, that streak keeps going for Cedartown. That's an awfully good football team. Sandy Creek taking on Stevens County. Ought to be an interesting matchup. Cedar Grove, Hebron Christian. Adairsville and Oconee County. I know Oconee County's 7-4. They're state ranked. Not going to be an easy game for Adairsville. I know Oconee County's got a kid that's committed to LSU. Carver of Atlanta, the team that Ringo played last week, they're taking on Monroe Area, who's a 4 seed, who knocked off a number 1. So Carver gets that one at home. Fannin County and Callaway. Callaway's always got a tough football team. Moving down, Christian Heritage, 5-6, but they're in the second round. They got to travel all the way to Johnson County, 11-0, and who's the most famous player to come out of Johnson County High School?
Johnson County High School.
You might have seen his face on TV a whole lot here lately.
Oh, Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker. Matter of fact, they got a running back that just broke Herschel Walker's career rushing record.
I thought he went to the same hospital. No, Quincy broke his records. That's what it was.
Yeah.
For some reason I was thinking him and Quincy went to the same school, but I forgot it was that Quincy broke all his state records as a high schooler.
But yeah, Herschel's alma mater, Johnson County. That's where Christian Heritage will be tonight. Looking down the list, you remember North Cobb Christian that opened the season against Ridgeland.
Yep.
North Cobb Christian is 10-1 and having to come up to Rockmart tonight. So we'll see exactly how good North Cobb Christian is. Obviously, they're pretty good. They're 10-1. Rockmart, bit of a different animal. Bowden, the number 1 team down in Division II Class A, they're at home to Manchester. That's a rematch from a game earlier this season that Bowden, I think, won by a couple touchdowns. Tryon at St. Francis. Or I think that might actually be at Tryon. I'm not 100% sure. St. Francis, if I remember correctly, is coached by Frank Barden, and Frank Barden was the guy who was at Cartersville and then left. I think he was there and won the state championship at Cartersville in '99 with that Ronnie Brown-led team.
Oh, wow.
So St. Francis
Ronnie Brown is in Auburn, Ronnie Brown?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he was from Cartersville High School.
Him and Coach Cadillac?
Mm-hmm. I think that's who should get the job, by the way.
I do, too.
And
can you imagine how, but you know,
Darlington at home against Mount Pisgah Christian, and that's really all the
not to
games of interest.
Not to go on a tangent here, but you know, you imagine being Cadillac Williams. You played at Auburn. You've made your way up to the coaching ranks. Now you're the interim head coach. You're probably going to be named the head coach. But could you imagine getting, you know, if the way college football typically goes, if 5 years down the road you get fired, yeah, you had the job at your alma mater, the dream job you always wanted.
We gave you a chance.
But you also lost, you know, that would have to be like the ultimate disappointment of having that taken away from you.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine. That's one of the things that I think about with that.
Yeah, you there?
We are efforting. Got him?
We have him.
And Scott, and that was based on a pick six as well. So
yeah,
really offensively speaking, one team scored one off touchdown and one didn't score any. And that's how that game played out in this respect. First time that the Hurricanes have an opportunity to move into the Final Four of the state playoffs. I was thinking that Ted Gatewood had taken them before this week, but I guess I was wrong. I thought he had a team that he had gotten to the Final Four and lost them. But
no, I think they got to the.
They got to the Elite Eight once.
I think they got quarters one year and lost to Giles County, if I'm not mistaken.
And that was the year I thought they had made it to the Final Four, but it was actually a quarterfinal game.
So, Juan Bullard is obviously, he's the man. He's been playing that position all year, but who else tonight is going to, because somebody else is going to have to step up tonight, because obviously everybody's going to key on Bullard, and it's not like they're going to surprise Red Bank with anything since they know him so well, but who's somebody that could step up tonight?
Well, this team's fate had to turn on a dime, Scott. They lose their college prospect-bound quarterback a week before the season starts in a scrimmage game, so they had to scramble into a whole different offense at that point in time. But there are some other playmakers. Wide receiver, I think his name is Jeffrey Cole. I may be wrong about the first name, last name Cole. Number 8 on his jersey. He's a threat on the perimeter. They try to get him the ball in different ways, but he is definitely an offensive threat that they have there. But last week they played a 43-42 battle with Upperman.
Mm-hmm.
So they pulled that out of their hat and win the football game. Then again, challenged on offense this year with the Red Bank Lions. There were different games they played this year. Now think about this: for a team that's been in the quarterfinals at this point, had 3 games this year, they didn't score an offensive touchdown.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't have thought they could get to that point, being that part of their history. I understand they have made, over the last few weeks, a quarterback change that has been somewhat helpful as far as their ground game goes. So we'll see that tonight as well.
And, of course, it's kind of ironic, the team that, or the coach that took East Hamilton to the Elite Eight a couple years ago, Ted Gatewood, steps down and moves on, and now he's at Red Bank, and now here he comes back home to take on the Hurricanes as the opposing coach of the Lions. So that's got to be a weird dynamic for him.
Well, 5 weeks ago, these two teams met at the same place on a Friday night, which basically led to a region championship for the Hurricanes. Again, that game was 14-0. Scott, sometimes when teams are fairly evenly matched, and I do think these teams are very close in talent level, they're both coached well on both sides of the ball, but it's hard to beat that team 2 times in a row.
Yeah.
The Hurricanes do have home field advantage, if that means anything in that respect. I do see some outdoor heaters that they have set up on their side, but I don't see any on the opposite side. So,
surprise.
Those things sometimes, what are we talking about? Home field advantage.
I was just trying to pull up the weather report to see what the temperature was going to be. I don't think it's going to be as warm as it was last Friday night. Last Friday was actually quite comfortable. Didn't need much in the way of extra layers. Now Saturday night when I was at Ringgold, much different story. It was one of the coldest games we've been to. But yeah, looking at 7 o'clock kickoff tonight, we're looking at 40 degrees, mostly cloudy. Temperature dropping down close to freezing by about 10 o'clock. But not a whole lot of wind, so that's good.
And that's what you battled last week. As I look at the scoreboard right here, they have the last week's game numbers still up there, Scott, with 0 on the clock, 43 home, 42 guests. So I hope for their sake they're not still remembering that game, because there's a different foe, a different opponent, and one that you've already beat this year. So revenge was talked about all week while preparing for this game from the Red Bank side.
I doubt very seriously this is going to be a 43-42 game.
No, and like in the game before, it was defensive driven. Again, I'm interested to see what the quarterback change has made for in respects to their offense for Red Bank. I'm assuming that they're somewhat pleased with it.
We're about 90 minutes, 100 minutes from kickoff, something along those lines. How's the crowd already?
Well, I'm here, and right now, if I had to interview somebody, I guess it'd have to be you, because there's not anybody.
Well, I know you said you wanted to try to get there early and beat the traffic, and it looks like you've done just that.
I have done that. I know my way around town very well. I know where the traffic patterns can be heavy. And that East Brainerd Road, you don't want to get on the back side of it.
No.
You need to be out in front.
Absolutely not. So, Rob Covington on location. He'll be reporting tonight, all night, as far as the game goes. And they'll probably have to ask him to leave after that. But
they most likely will.
Yeah, you can't stick around and broadcast nothing at 2 a.m. You have to leave, sir. But him and Nathan will be posting stuff all night long about this game. And
there's another big game in town, and we kind of tossed a coin on that as well, because CCS has never been where they're at tonight at all.
No.
They're looking at an opportunity of playing for a gold ball in 2 weeks if they can get by tonight.
We were talking about that earlier, and I there's something about this team. Just when you're a team and you've gone through the adversity that they've gone through here in the last 2 or 3 weeks, it just seems like this team is really just sort of gelled and rallied around each other. And I think, they may be an underdog tonight, but I think they got a good shot to win this thing tonight and play for a state championship. Now, will they win it? They probably gonna have to beat Lipscomb Academy. That might not happen, but just to make it to the state finals and have it literally right down the road from where you play on Friday night, that's a opportunity not a whole lot of teams in the country get, and I got a good feeling about the Chargers tonight.
Well, Phil Massey taking over for Coach Mark Mariakis, who obviously left the situation fairly well stocked, let's say, inside the pond. They come in, they change the offense around, which I believe has been a benefit as far as putting points on the score. But you lose your Mr. Football candidate no more than a few weeks ago, and you would think that there would be a lack of production possibly. But look at what they've done through the playoffs. That's not true.
No.
They've been able to put points and yardage up on the scoreboard to win football games. So, again, you're right. They might be the underdog tonight. They certainly would be if they could get to the state championship game, and we know who that foe would be. But at the same time, we tossed the coin because we really wanted to see both of these games. Yeah,
and I wouldn't blame you for either one. And I'm sure obviously we got two teams playing against each other for a chance to go to the semifinals. That that's obviously big too. But Chattanooga Christian got a real good shot, first ever time playing a semifinal game at home, and I'm sure that stadium over there will be rocking here and come about 90 minutes from now when they kick this thing off. Your thoughts on Tyner's chances tonight, along with Baylor and McCallie?
Well, I'm going to think back on a great source that told me something probably a month ago, and Jason Fitzgerald up at Meigs County, and talking to him prior to the game at Tyner, he said Tyner should win the state championship this year. He says, I absolutely know nobody on the East can play with them. He said there might be a team out West, but he says, I look for them to win a state championship. Now, there's a guy that's played for a state championship 2 or 3 times over the last year. So he kind of knows what's out there, and I trust his judgment on what he was saying. So at least I do think that they will play for a state championship.
And like
that they had to travel being a 1 seed, but
yeah,
was sharing with me that's already determined.
Right. And like we were talking a few minutes ago, and I'm pretty sure we're right, and I haven't looked it up to confirm it, but I'm pretty sure I remember this would be the 25th anniversary of that 97 team that won the state title.
Well, and it doesn't take a mathematician to figure this out. When you bring back new kids, as they brought back last year, and they had a solid team last year, but they basically didn't lose much graduation. I don't know that they picked up anybody else, but they may have. But in watching them that night a few weeks ago, you saw the metamorphosis, so to speak, of the age of this team versus last year's team. And they looked like a team that was poised to play for a state championship. So there you go, Ram train all night long. Baylor McCallie, I'm no different than anybody else in this town. We want to see Baylor and McCallie play for a state championship.
Yeah.
The opportunity is set up by the brackets to happen, but they both got tremendous foes to deal with on the road tonight.
Oh yeah, it won't be easy, but they are games against teams that they're at least equal to in talent. I mean, I honestly think Baylor is just as good as Brentwood Academy, and I think McCallie's just as good as MBA, and it's going to come down to a play here, a play there, a turnover here, or a turnover there. And we're 4 quarters away from possibly the biggest football game in the history of the Chattanooga city limits.
Well, yes, and it's something that people have thought about for a long time, and I agree with you, Scott.
And there's been some big games around here, but I don't think it would get any bigger than Baylor McCallie at Findlay, and that place will absolutely be packed to the gills.
Well, and I do agree with you as well. But, and McCallie, I don't think is rattled by any imagination that they lost 2 ball games that they probably felt like 5 minutes prior to the game closing that they could have won the football game. So that's who they are. I think they know that. Baylor is a good-looking club. We saw them that night against McCallie. Some things that crazily went on in the last 6 minutes of the game, but again, I told somebody, I said, well, that's not no fluke, because Baylor made some plays to create those situations. It wasn't just Holly just handing it to them. Baylor made plays about that. I think Holly felt like we got away from it.
Rob Covington on location tonight, joined by Nathan Cook. They'll be bringing you highlights tonight on Scenic City Sports on Facebook. Kickoff at 7 o'clock tonight. You guys stay warm. And
yeah, I know you mean it.
We do.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me. I know what you're going through tonight.
Yeah, we left the studio door open, so it's a little cold where we are at the moment. So.
Yeah, but you got some costume over there, Rusty.
That is, yeah. I got some pick me up that'll warm us up in a hurry.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. But I can't give y'all's whereabouts away, because then I would be put in the
you'd be putting time out for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Penalty box.
All right, buddy. Y'all stay warm.
All right. See you guys.
Rob Covington.
Well, Scotty, I think that's gonna.
And himself.
I think that's gonna do it for our nice little 90 miles an hour run through the upcoming. Obviously, later tonight, we'll try to update a scoreboard of some type to have that, try to keep everybody abreast as the night goes on.
And I'm going to try my best to update as many scores as I can find throughout the night, throughout the game, since I haven't got a game to cover tonight myself. I'll have a little more time to do it instead of trying to cram it all in at halftime.
Yep.
In case anybody's ever wondering, I'm trying to keep score of the game I'm at and trying to update all the scores at halftime. So if I miss a game or two during halftime during the season, it's not for lack of effort, I promise
Exactly.
you. They can't get the most of them. But we'll do what we can tonight to keep you guys abreast of what's going on with the local teams that are still in the playoffs. And then, who knows, we may have another game next week. Semifinals somewhere.
We'll see.
And then, of course, about 2 weeks, Blue Cross Bowl in Chattanooga Finley Stadium, 3 nights, December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Been another, like Rusty said, another fast-paced show, but hopefully we got some good information in there for you. And just sit back. If you're at a game, stay warm tonight. If you're not, stay by your phone. And just follow the action with us. We'll be here the rest of the night. So, Scott Herbst signing off for Rusty Parkhill. This has been another episode Scenic City Sports tonight. You guys have a happy Friday and have a good weekend.